come by and work with some of us that are having a little trouble with this. But again, if we're simplifying a square root, the first thing we want to do is break it down. Okay? You have to ask yourself, what two numbers multiply to give me this number that I see, 125? All right? So my number ends in 5, so I know it's definitely going to be divisible by 5. How many times would 5 go into 125? 25 times. You okay? Okay, I don't have a whole lot of patience today, guys, so you got to stay focused on what we're doing, all right? Here's one way to think about it. If you have $1.25, right, 125, if you have $1.25, how many quarters would that be? How many quarters would $1.25 be? 5. There's 4 quarters in $1 plus 1 additional quarter. So that's 5 quarters at 25 cents a piece. Therefore, 5 times 25 gives me 125. You see what I did there? You always want to think about it like money, especially if you see those 25s like this. Think of it like $1.25. Well, that's 5 quarters. 5 times 25. Can we split up 25 any further? Yeah, what's 25? 5 times 5. Anything else we can split up here? Nope. So my prime factors are 5, 5, and 5. Before we take the next step, are there any questions about how we got those prime factors? So I was walking around, some people said they didn't know how to do this. So I want to make sure you see how we did this first part. Does that make sense? Okay. Then we take all 3 of these prime factors, we put them under our square root. We didn't change anything, we just broke this original number up into the smallest units we can. And we look for an identical pair. Is there any pair of numbers here that we can circle up? A pair of 5s. We don't want to circle all 3 of them though. We're only looking for pairs. So this 5 has a buddy. He can get off the bus. But this 5 has got to stay inside all alone. All right? So what we get is a 5 on the outside. We bring those pairs out and they become 1. We still have a square root. And what was left on the inside of that square root? A single 5. What's the only thing we're missing from our answer here? Plus or minus 5 root 5. Okay, so the first step, so the reason you have all this space here, is make your factor tree just like this. Okay, it's just multiplication facts. At this point, we should be fairly confident with our multiplication facts, right? We're in 8th grade. If you have a composition book, there's multiplication facts in the back of it, though, if you need help. All right? We get all those prime factors. If there's a pair, a matching pair, we bring it out to the front. And if there's something without a pair, we leave it on the inside. That's the basic process here. If you look down to number 15, again, I'm going to start with a factor tree. What 2 numbers multiply to give me 120? 12 and 10. Good. Now, if you can't come up with that off the top of your head, ask yourself, is 120 even or odd? It's even, right? This is an even number. Every single even number can be divided by 2. So how many times would 2 go into 120? 60, right? If you take off the 0, how many times would 2 go into 12? 6 times. So then we add the 0 back on. Is 60 odd or even? Even. It's been a long, short week so far. So we can divide 60 by 2 as well. How many times would 2 go into 60? 30. Is 30 odd or even? Even. We'll split it in half again. How many times would 2 go into 30? 15. And 15 can be split because it's odd into 5 times 3. So if you get a weird number that you don't really know a multiplication fact off the top of your head for, i.e. number 14 with 68, you see that it's even, cut it in half, divide it by 2. We get 2, 2, 2, 5, 3. All my prime factors, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5 go underneath. We're just splitting that 120 up. Is there any pairs here we can circle up? Yeah, we got a pair of 2s. What do we do with that pair of 2s? Bring it out to the front. Is there anything left over here? Yeah, this 2 doesn't have a pair, this 3 doesn't have a pair, and this 5 doesn't have a pair. So the 3 of those numbers have to stay behind. What do I get? Well, I get a plus or minus 2 in the front. My square root stays there. What is 2 times 3 times 5? 30. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Whatever's left over, all my little stragglers, my non-paired numbers, have to stay in the square root, and we just re-multiply them back together, like we did in the warm-up with number 2. You can't bring out triplets, only twins. That third triplet's got to stay inside the square root with its other, I don't know, cousins or whatever. And that's what we get. Plus or minus in the front, pair out, outside of the square root, everything else inside. Quick show of thumbs, let me know, is that helping a little bit figure out kind of what we're doing? Kind of? Okay.